It's such a beautiful day. I decided to go live just because I have a few minutes before my wife's Zoom call is over. And I was waiting to go and just rage on a Friday with my wife of 20 odd years, which means we're going to go shopping for furniture. How are you guys? It's beautiful. I have this little gizmo that follows me. Gizmo, that's how old I am. Remember Gizmo, the gremlin from the movie Gremlins? Don't feed them after midnight and don't give them water. Hi, Smiesco. How are you? Ashley's here. So, yeah, life is good. Let me see. I'm just gonna adjust this slightly, this little device. All right, let's see if it still follows me. There we go. Linda's here. So let's just chat. Tell me what's up with y'all. You know, people who are in our supporter group hear all my sob stories of what awakening is like on a day-to-day basis. Awakening, whatever the hell that is. So I want to hear your stories and we can talk. Tori says, hello from Health 3.0 land. There's such a place. There's a mythical Health 3.0 land. I want to go there. I want to practice there because I don't want to practice here. Northern British Columbia is in the house with Diane. And let's see, did you ever talk to Vinay since he got his big job, says Old Tuna. Vinay Prasad? Oh yes, we are friends. I've been talking to him regularly. I can't say anything because that wouldn't be nice. And it wouldn't help anything. Like, it's a complex thing that's going on. That's a euphemism. He's doing well though. He is really like such a smart, crazy, passionate, idealistic guy. And whatever you read in the press is pretty much just nonsense. So that's what I'll say. You'd be welcome in British Columbia, Brenda, thank you. I love Vancouver. I haven't been there for years and years, but it was a lot of fun when I was there. Great Asian food there. Ooh, Diane just got back from a weekend meditation retreat. Dude, well, here, let's pretend we're on a meditation retreat. This is what those are like. All right, there's like 100 people and the little bell goes, dong, and then it's just, and then every now and again you hear someone going, and then every now and again you hear someone go, because they're having Kundalini energy, and then there's a talk, and then there's a guided meditation, then there's a talk, there's Q&A, there's more sitting silently, and after a couple days of that, your entire sensorium is just like, it's heightened. You're off your device, you are out of the matrix of human consciousness and into a different little mini matrix where everything is transmitted kind of non-verbally, and insights can arise, mystical experiences can arise, peace can arise, agitation can arise, whatever arises, and it's felt kind of fully, even the resistance that can arise. So those are fun, challenging, sometimes useful. I don't know what they are, honestly. I've done quite a few of them. I really enjoyed doing them, like, because you could see how damaging the standard human operating system that we live in, this collective consensus reality, it really is for your well-being. Is you do a retreat, and even when the dark shadow stuff comes up, it's like dark, meaning it's, you know, stuff we resist because we don't prefer it. When it comes up, it's like there's a gratitude that it did. And in polite society, we're repressing all that stuff all the time. We're having to put a mask on, we're having to play these games, and in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with any of that, because that's what's showing up. But a lot of times it comes with this deep suffering, especially, like, you know, I was talking to a friend recently, and they got laid off from their healthcare job. And, you know, that is a hard thing to go through, especially when there's a deep belief that this is actually absolutely real and important, and you're scared for your survival and all of that, all the stuff that the conditioning tells you will happen. And the truth is, it's like we were never in control. There was never a control. This was always a kind of an illusion in that sense that we have any control over what's unfolding and that we can push and pull on reality. And the truth is we never could. And so when that's understood, it's like, okay, the consensus reality tells you you're in control and you need to be, and you need to be in control in these particular ways, right? And when that sort of gets shaken because something totally out of your control happens, sometimes it can be a crack, because the suffering that you feel, you realize is like, where is that coming from? Like, what is doing that? Why is it so unpleasant? Because everything is telling you, you're somehow it's personal, even though it actually literally wasn't personal. And the problem-solving mind goes into overdrive trying to figure out how to solve the problem of me. And we all go through this, and it's very painful. So getting back to meditation retreat, on a retreat, you step outside of that. There's no distraction, there's no connection in that way, there's no device, there's no talking. So it's like, ooh. In fact, honestly, the retreats I've been to, sometimes I've wished there was even less talking, like less talks, less Q&A, less... And I understand why they're there. They provide a kind of a centering for people who have no context for it. But once you do, it's like just pure silence. Sitting with what's arising. It can be incredibly challenging, but so clarifying. Very powerful experience. We were never in control, but this is real, because negative events can uncover where the future is heading, even though you may not be in control of anything. It's painful nonetheless. Okay, so here's the thing. Future, right, where the future is heading is one thought happening right now. Control is the idea that there's a doer in here that can push and pull on what is happening in this moment, because there's nothing else. Nothing's happening in the future. That's just a thought. And actually nothing happened in the past. That's a etching that's occurring now. That's a reflection. So in a sense, past and future are just these constructions that we have. You could talk about planning, and I do this now, and I kind of know this will then result from it. But even that is kind of a thought. It's like these things just seem to happen and appear. So when the controller itself is seen through, that I look for that and I can't find it, and I keep looking, and then the energetic belief in that one who can do it kind of dissolves, then there's just the sense of, oh, there's reality, and it's not, somehow it needs to be permanent and satisfying and substantial. And so there's this restlessness to try to make it that, and so we form a sense of a doer, and then the whole cascade of suffering from there, the cascade of forming identity, ego, all of it. It all comes from this fundamental illusion that somehow this can be permanent, substantial, and satisfying. And when that illusion, sometimes in Buddhism they call that the 10th fetter, if that kind of falls or is seen through kind of by no one, it's an energetic kind of dropping, then everything is just as it is. Then in the scene is merely the scene. There's just what is appearing. And there's no pusher and puller, and yet actions occur. Future is managed somehow. There's no future, but you know what I mean? Like the doing just is done. There's just process, just appearance. And there isn't anyone doing it. And it feels like there's a lot of words you can use. They're all wrong. So it feels like a flow state. It feels like freedom. It feels like no self. It feels like peace beyond understanding. These are all dumb words. They don't accurately describe what that is, because it's wordless. It's beyond conceptual thinking, but it's just what it is. And it's happening now. This is it. For you too. There's just this appearance, this construction of self, pushing and pulling, subject in a world of objects, witnessing, perceiving consciousness that perceives pre-existing objects in space and time, a fundamental subtle sense of I that it's all appearing to. And so, I have people email me saying, you say there's no self and this and this, and that's another belief. And, what we are is transcendent consciousness that's like this, this thing. And it's like, yeah, that's definitely a stage of this where that seems to be the case. And it's beautiful. It's like kind of blissful. That's like awakening initially, like you awaken into this, oh, I wasn't the ego. Okay, so that little illusion is seen through that ego illusion, but that's like step one. And then you feel like you're the witnessing consciousness, like, oh, I am the conscious. Wow, I'm the whole thing. I'm the field in which all this appears. And then even that's seen as a kind of a subtle identity, because there's still pushing and pulling. There's still reactivity. There's still like jumping into thought and trying to fix things, trying to plan for the future, trying to avoid discomfort, all the things that we're conditioned as humans. We're born with these tendencies to do that. But the illusions that drive that tendency can be seen through. And that's like, there's different words for that. Liberation, like anatta, no self, all this nonsense, all nonsense. But we have to talk, so we use nonsense words. Let me see where we are with the comments. Tori says, after awakening, LOL, see, that's the right. That's what it feels like. Like, what the fuck is awakening? I feel like I'm two simultaneous entities, both all one, and also I'm a person with a job and a family, like reintegration in the Severance TV show. Yes, I love Severance for this reason. It's like, it gets to the heart of identity. What are you? And for me, I can only speak from my own experience. So for me, and notice, I'm not avoiding using personal pronouns, saying things like me, because that's fucking dumb. Like, people who do that can suck a bowl of dicks. Like, why would you talk like that? Like, and sometimes I fiddle with that. Like, I'm like, here, it's like this. You see people talking like that. Well, over here, the experience is, like, they don't want to say I. And I get it, because actually when that sense of the self apart relaxes, it can feel strange to talk like that. But what you're pointing at, Tori, is actually the deeper realization, I think. What do I know, right? Just my own experience, which is, yeah, there's no me, there's no self, there's no I, I'm just not here in the way I thought, apart from everything that is. There's just everything that is. There's just the appearance. And it's always and. It's not but, it's and. That appearance has the feel of me, Zubin, with a family and daughter applying to college and wife and mortgage and whatever it is, right? And that's simultaneous. Now, what might be different is there's never truly believing that the separate me is real, has substance and truth to it beyond its own vibrating appearance. So it's like, you can be Zubin, no problem. I can be I. I can even reconstruct a sense of there's a subject and an object. That's just can instantly occur, but it's never really believed again. It's never believed. It's very strange to talk about. And the even I am the all one, that's a beautiful way to say it, like everything one, even that doesn't even make sense to me. Because for there to be one, there has to be the possibility of many, or an apprehending of one from some vantage, and that can't be. There's no vantage. So it's just mystery, just appearance. Woo! The scene, simply the heard, simply the felt, simply the thought. That's it. And there's no you really in that. There's just that. And that is the end of suffering, Bahia. That's a Buddhist sutta, for whatever that's worth. I Am Legend, to reference a mediocre Will Smith movie, Dan Riddick. I remember that movie. It was mediocre. Emma in the UK says, me the vehicle moving through life and me the living being of life. That's a nice way to say that. Smiesko says, women are stronger than men. You can withstand so much pain. We're talking about, I don't know where we got into that, but sure, if you say so. I believe it. I'm a total puss when it comes to pain. So that's the thing. Does pain not arise? No, of course it does. Things that are unpleasant, neutral, and pleasant arise. What might happen is the mechanism we thought that was there to push and pull and try to resist or grasp at what we want, resist what we don't want, that can actually relax. And the reactivity that comes from that goes, and instead there's just response. So there's a painful stimulus, there's a response to pull your hand away from the fire or the hammer that just banged it. Curse words may come out of your mouth, but there isn't this second arrow, as Buddha said, apparently. I don't know what he really said. That is this arrow of it should have been otherwise, it can be otherwise, I must do something about this, because that fundamental illusion that things are permanent, they can be permanent, that they have real substance, that they actually exist in the world, and that they can satisfy me in some way permanently, that illusion drops. And then what is there to push and pull on something that is just what it is? It couldn't be other, and there's no you to make it other, and there's no, and this is the important part, there's no need. There's a true dropping of the belief that it needs to be other. And that is the, so-called peace that passes all understanding. Everything just is perfectly. Perfect not in that it's free of pain, free of suffering, free of what you call evil. And I say you call because the you calls it evil, the you judges in black and white and so on. And that's all fine. And it is exactly what it is, beyond good and evil, beyond any descriptors. And it couldn't be otherwise. At this retreat, Diane says, we did body work. My scoliosis pain went from 8 to 2. Now continue to manage with meditation practices I learned. That's awesome. Hey, man. See, that's the practical aspects of these sort of practices. As far as awakening goes, I'm not sure anything causes anything, like these sort of illusions to drop, but sometimes they're associated. Like it seems like at a meditation retreat, you have an insight because it's quiet. The mind is calmed down. The field of illusion, what I call the cloud of forgetting, that's our mind, that we call our mind. There's no mind, by the way. Can you find a mind? It calms down, and then you can see what's here, what was always here, and what's seeing it itself. It's just the radiance. Let's see, Sherry Quintana says, hubby is a doctor, 2 years away from retirement. His frustration with the business of medicine is unbelievable and comes at the cost of his sanity and the care of the patients. It will be a long 2 years. So here's the thing, when we finally decide to stop wearing the mask and stop playing the consensus reality in a thing that doesn't feel like authentically what this is anymore, it goes from becoming something we could tolerate because we were creating coping mechanisms. We were creating our own delusion and our own masking and our own hiding from what is. I'm going to stand up for a second. Our own hiding from what is to cope with it, when that is no longer the case because we've set an end point. We're like, I'm going to retire, or I'm going to quit, or I'm going to leave. I remember when I was going to leave Stanford, my job at Stanford, to go to Las Vegas to start this clinic and do all that. Every minute, every second in the hospital was like torture because it no longer felt like this. It no longer felt authentically what was arising. It was like, no, it was all resistance. All my compensations had failed because I knew there was an exit. And so sometimes people can experience that. It's like, it's excruciating. Now, imagine this kind of thing happens. I wonder how much further I can walk. Oh, imagine this kind of thing occurs where your daily life is excruciating like that. And this can sometimes happen with awakening on the path, is everything becomes excruciating. It's like, no, the inauthenticity of pretending, of playing a character, of believing what society's saying about what you're supposed to be, what this is, what you're supposed to do, all that becomes intolerable. Well, then it gets really painful. There's this phase where it's just like, it's like a mix of nihilism and wanting to withdraw from the world and just agitation and all this stuff. And that can definitely arise. But my experience here has been that here, see, now I'm talking like these asshole non-dual absolutists. Notice the judgmental Zubin is still there. That movement of fuck these people. That, I don't like to talk this way because it implies some sequence, but that feels like a stage or a phase that happens. And then there's a kind of deeper integration that was pointed to earlier by the commenter, which is just, it's all this, including the dance of society, the crazy politics, the wars, all of it, piece of shit on the ground, a fly on your fucking birthday cake. It's all this radiance. And there's really nothing wrong with it. And yet we go on our day and we do things, we make changes, we do all that. It's a beautiful, miraculous dance emerging from a kind of no thing that also feels like a movement of just pure, unconditional perfection, love, bliss. It's very, very strange. And it's not a bunch of fireworks, and it's not something that's wantable by the mind, but it is absolutely yeah, I just realized I can't say a word about it. You just can't say a word about it. Now someone, speaking of can't say a word, someone gave me $10 and I want to thank them. That is Dose Boy. That's a good name. Dose Boy, son. Says, my psychiatrist tells people to watch you to reduce their anxiety and reduce investment in stories in general. FYI, his name is Dr. Is it Winner? Hold on, I gotta put on glasses to see this for a second, these cheap reading glasses. His name is Dr. Winner in Boulder, Colorado. I've been watching you since I was 19, now I'm 26. Are you serious? Really? Wow. I don't know. I don't know why this comment is affecting me emotionally like this. Because honestly, like there's not an intention here to somehow do that or help people. There really isn't. And there's not a validation that's gotten from a comment like that, meaning like, it used to be that was the case. I would get validated. I would be like, oh, great, there's a psychiatrist that's recommending me and people are responding and they're watching since they're young and instead what it feels like is just like pure love. Like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so glad to hear that. That is so awesome. Because listen, I don't know what I'm saying. It's probably useless, right? But I know what anxiety is. I know what depression is. I know what that suffering is. I know it intimately. I've known it for a long time. I see it in others. I feel it in myself. That's how I know it, is I feel it. I felt it and feel it when it arises. I know what it is. And when all this starts to unravel, the stories, like you said, that's what's so beautiful about that, is that your psychiatrist sees what I'm trying to point out, which is we're not our stories. And that's so rare in the therapy space, in the world of those kind of things. It's almost like they replace the bad stories with better stories, or try to tell you how to massage your story or reframe your story. And that's all wonderful. That can be incredibly helpful, incredibly helpful. But what if the one who's even experiencing the stories is just seen through, and the stories are just stories? They're just a dance. So I know then from that suffering, when the story starts to relax, the suffering changes its quality totally. And it's just this heart-opening experience. So first of all, Dose Boy, thank you for the support, but thank you for the deeper support by telling that story. It means a lot to me, so thank you. And these things rarely, like, you know, people tell me all kinds of nice things sometimes, and they tell me terrible things. Like, man, I get so much hate. The hate makes me giggle. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes when it's like something that I kind of have already been insecure about, and someone makes a comment and it hits that little point, it leads to all this reactivity that then is seen. Like, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, because there's still a belief that that's true. Or there's a belief that I need to be this way. And this person's pointing out that I'm not this way. And so it kind of, and then you see, oh, there's a story and a belief there. And so it leads to this kind of reflective process, but it can be painful. But the positive comments actually are similar. It's kind of like, oh, you know, this. There's something here that I'm validated by this, or I feel like this. And by the way, I'm not just talking about me. I'm just making this a case for how we respond as humans. So when this comment shows up and it says, oh, you know, the psychiatrist recognized this part about stories and is telling me to go ahead and watch when you're feeling bad, like, that feels like the dance. I don't know why. It really does. Like, there's something there that I can't quite pin down, and it's not validation. And I'm feeling into it, and I don't know what it is, but I'm just really happy. So thank you. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad it's helpful. KB Shrink, hi Zubin. What you have to say is so right on. I've been a clinical psychologist. Oh, thank you for your service. For 35 years, I follow your model regarding thoughts and stories. It works so well in outpatient therapy. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that. So here's the thing. It's certainly not my model, and I don't even know that it's a model, right? But of course, as clinicians, we speak this way. We speak in terms of models, and we want to ascribe like some source to the model and so on. So we'll leave that as it is. But it's more, what's the actual experience in every moment as we keep searching and as this understanding unfolds? And it's an understanding that isn't conceptual. And what you're pointing at is that can actually be pointed at. It can never be really said and taught in this way, but it can be pointed at in an outpatient setting with patients who are suffering. You know, so some traumatic thing happens, and you can process that and you can work through that as a story, and then you can actually feel into, okay, what is just thought? What is the nature of thought that's causing all this suffering? I feel like I am these thoughts. I feel like these thoughts are real. I feel like, you know, so on and so forth, and that can be seen through. And, you know, in some sense, that's meditation 101. In some sense, it's mindfulness and, you know, whatever. But really, it's a little deeper than that, to use words that make no sense. It's seeing and de-identifying your sense of self from thought, which means you de-identify from stories. And that's like kind of, that in itself is a massive relief. That's like, you know, what some people call first awakening, spiritual awakening, where like you realize you were never your stories. You were the witnessing awareness in which those stories occur. And then even that falls. That's later. Even that sense of self identity can fall. And then it's just another degree of freedom, but freedom for no one. So it becomes very hard to talk about. So I'm really glad. I know you're here consistently, KV, and I really appreciate the work you're doing. So thank you. Kevin says, I have so many stories that are so unlikely or unbelievable. It's come to a strangely dissociative point. I try to let the association with these stories go. It'll be interesting to leave. Yeah, so it can be really weird, Kevin. Like, strange things can happen, and it can sometimes feel like a dissociation. Sometimes it can actually become a pathological, dissociative kind of state that can arise, and that's not necessarily caused by any of this, but it was going to arise in that person or that body, you know, for whatever reasons, trauma, all these things that can happen, wiring, these stories that we're saying about how this arises, because nobody knows what causality is, if it even is a thing. But just be, you know, like you said, I think it points that as we dissociate, a lot of interesting and sometimes scary, destabilizing things can happen. So I'll give you an example. This is just a particular inquiry. So I'm sitting right there in my meditation chair, and I'm looking at there's so many different ways to look at reality and different perspectives and conceptual models. And they're all wrong, but they can be helpful. And I'm inquiring into the subtlest sense of I. So, I've kind of seen that I'm not my story. I've seen how desire and aversion and reactivity occur and how they can lessen and weaken. I've seen that I can feel into how these objects aren't separate from the perceiving of them. So it's just this non-dual kind of perception. And then you can see how even there's not perception, there's just the appearance. And it doesn't require a perceiver. You can't find a perceiver. There's just what is appearing, or what is, and by appearance I mean sound, thought, sensations, smells, tastes, sights, all of it, all the sensorium. But then there's still this sense of a kind of inside and outside, of a kind of referring point to which all of this subtly appears, an I, just the subtlest sense of I. And so I'm sitting here looking at different apparent objects and appearances in the room, and then noticing that there forms a little pulling back, a little sense here that is witnessing that from inside. Very subtle. And hey, kitty. Hey, Mitch. Yeah, come over here. Jump up here. Yeah, come on. There we go. There's Mitch. Mitch is a girl, but we're very non-binary around here, so we call her Mitch. She got shaved, so she's all shaved and her butt's in the air, which means she's gonna fart any second. Right, Mitch? You love to fart. Do you respond to your name? Mitch. Mitchy. She does, actually. She'll meow, she'll come. Ooh, what's up, Mitch? You want to look at these guys? Look at my finger. See my finger? It's a finger pointing at the moon. You're supposed to look at just the finger, but you don't even look at that, do you? You're a bad kitty. Look. Oh, you're purring everywhere. You're purring. Oh, Mitchy. Oh, sick. You got some kitty litter on me, you dirty boo. You probably just came from the litter box. So I'm looking at these apparent objects and then feeling this subtle withdrawal back into a center of perception, an I. And I'm looking for the mechanism that's doing that. So I'm like, what is doing that? Like, is there something in me? Is there a me that's doing that? And I'm looking, and I can't find that mechanism. And I keep looking, and then it feels like the bottom kind of drops out. Everything gets really disorienting, almost like you're dizzy or having vertigo. And then there's just this massive cloud of fear, like, wah! And that's the kind of phenomena that can happen because under there is all this conditioning, under there is like maybe early trauma that's all encapsulated in this I. The I kind of keeps it in a place. And when that I starts to dissolve, or you dissociate from these stories entirely, things can get really difficult. And so you kind of have to do the work with the trauma, work with a therapist, work with those things, kind of understand that stuff so that when it comes flooding up, you're not, losing your shit. But that's part of it, I think, is you do go through that, and it's consistent. It does occur, and then maybe the next 10 times it happens, and then the 11th time it's like, the fear barrier just kind of dissolves. And it's mysterious, and I can't say there's any mechanism to it, really. I'm making up a mechanism. I have no idea. But that's kind of how it's been experienced here. So yeah, things can feel a little dissociative. And for some people, it can be, like I said, pathological. Like they really suffer. Like they feel dissociated, like in an unpleasant way. Yeah. And then you need help, right? Smesco says, the cats are on our side. Yeah, definitely Mitch is on our side. Mitch looking like a lion. That's right, Dan. She's got the lion cut. That's what they call this. It keeps her from dragging in poop because she's a fluffy cat otherwise. If you see her tail, here's her tail. Like that's what her hair is normally like all around her. And this is what it's like now. So, you know. Yeah, therapeutic Mitch. Kevin says, appreciate your input. Kevin, so it's not, and you don't have to do this. There's a feeling of loneliness in this whole thing, right? Like no one understands, like society doesn't get it. Like I can't talk to my friends about this. I've lost my friends. Like crazy shit can go down and it can feel very lonely. So there are groups online. There's all kinds of people to support. Just be careful because there is a collective delusion in these kind of enterprises too. Like everything I say can incept you to believe that that's how it's going to be for you. And who says? Who says I haven't been incepted by listening to people online, you know? I question that all the time. That awakening is just a collective delusion. Totally possible. So then what do? Look at your own experience right now. Drop out of even the story of awakening, the story of dissociation, and all the labels we're putting on our experience. Just drop it. Just like this cat dropped a bunch of little bits of hair and litter on me, that stinking rat. It's so funny the way we talk to Mitch. Like the whole family does this, except for my wife because she's sweet. But my kids and I will be cuddling on her and squeezing her face and being like, "You are the worst, stinkiest, most evil rat, and we hate you, and we hope you explode and spontaneously combust." And the whole time we're just showering her with physical affection. And of course, the cat understands no words, and there's no malice in behind the words, but the words themselves are vitriol. And it's so funny to see the disconnect. Like, it's like, oh, that's hilarious. It's like, I'm gonna kill you, Mitch. I hate you. I want you to die. And you just hug it on her and love it on her. And you just realize words are just, they're words. They mean nothing unless there's energy behind them. And even the energy is an empty dance of radiance, of love, actually. Doesn't matter what it is. Kevin says, I'm in a decent place with it. It's been a long time. I'm just a little too attracted to the idea that my stories are who I am, and I get past that eventually. Don't even, Kevin, you really do, it feels like, so it can get really like heavy, like I gotta detach from my stories, like I gotta stop believing this story, and even that becomes a story. It's so tricky how the mind is. It really wants to snare you back into a doership and a control and I've got to do this, and that's natural. That's just how it's here. It's like that here. It's like, oh, you know, it's like that for me. I can say it's like that here. There's no, forget the language police on all sides. And so what can happen is we can get up in our heads about that too. And so sometimes it's just like, okay, it's all okay. There's a bunch of me here right now, meing and believing stories. That's fine. I'm attached to the stories. Okay. There's a sense of attachment to the stories. That's okay. Let that be too. And what else is here? Like what's just happening in every moment. And when you get a chance to look, just look. And you see the freedom is here always. It's always here. It always has been. Every word I just said is such a euphemism. It's such a rounding error on what I'm actually pointing at. So unspeakable, just, and simple. So it's not some magical, mystical force field tying the universe together. It's just what is. It's very simple. So simple you overlook. Just the simple magic of it. The simple magic of it. Of this. Leonidas Dunbar says, Z-Dog, I don't know if you know much about felines, but Mitch was just showing you signs of disrespect. He just farted and, what was it? And shed cat litter on you. Also, first of all, Mitch is a she. Second, she actually didn't fart. She was just, sometimes she does that and a fart will come out and we're like, but this time she didn't. And, hey, Mitch, get off that couch. Hey, no. She listened to me. She goes, bah, and gets off the couch. Maybe she is disrespecting me because she knows I'm on TV. So yeah, I never really take that as disrespect. She's who she is. And even if she is disrespecting me, first of all, can a cat respect you? I don't know what that means. Respecting requires some kind of thought process. I don't know if cats have that, some kind of belief that somebody's worthy or not worthy of this thing we call respect, which is a total conceptual bubble. Smiesko says, I think that religion is summoning the collective. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but it sounded cute. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what the collective is. It's a thought. But it can feel like that. And when we talk that way, right? Like the collective consciousness, and Jungian archetypes and all that. And that can be a useful model, but it's a model, so it's wrong ultimately. It doesn't point. It points at some aspect of reality that's not speakable or some experiential aspect. Lisa says, my daughter died of cancer at 37 in June, and now I have cancer. I'm really sorry. Yeah. Yeah. That's very difficult. Yeah. And there's no bypass for that. There's no, cancer's a story. Oh no, your daughter was not existing in any substantial way and was just a thought. No, that's not at all how that is. Yeah, I'm really sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry for what you're going through. I have no answers for any of that because there aren't answers. There's only what you're going through. That's it. Autumn says, I would love for you and Suzanne to have another conversation. Autumn away. Let Suzanne know. See if she's down to do it. Lisa says, I listen to all your songs. Now that's a comment I can roll with. I was debating whether to do, what is it? You'll Be Back, the Pharma Hamilton parody I put out several years ago, and just re-perform it for a little digital short. But then I just got bored and decided not to. You'll be back, soon you'll see, you'll need meds for that ADHD. You'll be back, time will tell, you'll be jacked without the pills we sell. BPs rise, erections fall, we have medications for it all. And when push comes to shove, I will advertise direct to consumer to remind you of my drug. Da 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 da. Pharma, yeah. Da 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 da. Pharma, yeah. Okay. Anyways, enough of that. Kevin says, I'm receiving you and hearing. It's always so nice. I'm sorry, I just got done singing something stupid. Only been on live stream with you twice. No other history or knowledge of you. That's great. I love it. You remind me of things I assume people won't understand. Well, I don't know how many people are here. 82 people on a weekday in the middle of the day. So I think there's more people who vibe with what you're going through than you might imagine. Isn't that cool? It's kind of nice to not feel as alone, although ultimately it is very lonely. Loneliness is the central experience of later realization. It seems. That's my conclusion for what it's worth. Jojo says, none for me, just stay in the dormitory with the nuns. ADHD indeed. Hey man, if that works, do it. Monk Life says, shame on you, that woman has cancer. What are we talking about? The earlier person who has cancer, whose daughter died of cancer? Yes, we talked about that. She has cancer. It is bad. Are you talking to someone in the comments who said something? Boy, I don't know. There's so many comments, I missed the streaming. Hopefully I'm definitely missing something there. John Pienta, hi John. That was the trick all along. Attainments, let everything go just to become an egomaniac for performing his songs. Masterwork. Oh, you say the price of my drugs, not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry when Timmy's just been stung by a bee, but your EpiPen's dry. Why so sad? Remember, we made an arrangement with your FDA. Now you're making me mad. Remember, until there's generics, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You'll need meds for that ADHD. Okay, anyways, you're right. That's exactly the game I've been playing, John. It's all ego. It's all ego. Don't make me sing. Oh my gosh. Too much fun. Lisa says Eminem even knows who you are. Is that right? Does M know that I've done like parodies of 2 of his songs at least? 3 of his songs. I did Dan, parody of Stan. I did Ain't the Way to Die, parody of Love the Way You Lie. And I did another one, right? I know I did another one. Oh, Lose Yourself. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. Except I forget what my lyrics were. They were about losing yourself in the system. Oh yeah. You shouldn't lose yourself in the system the moment you wish and you would have gone to business school. You only get one shot. Do not drop this chance to grow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Yo, that's right about transforming healthcare. Oh man, it's been a while. Oops. Room full of spaghetti. Diane Jansen should have done the live theater, not medicine. I know. Don't make me sing, so I have no talent. Connie DeLeo says, just yesterday I did a deep dive on all the classics with Dr. Harry. So funny, just yesterday I was hanging out with Dr. Harry. We were lifting weights in his gym. And do you remember the Confrontation? A Les Mis parody that Dr. Harry and I did. He played an ER doc and I played a hospital medicine doc, and the ER doc was trying to admit to the hospital medicine doc. And it was like he shows up and he's like, Valjean, at last, I paged an hour ago. This alcoholic sodium's much too low. And then I'm like, before you say another word, Javert, before you dump on me reflexively, listen to me. These labs you must repeat. Nonsense. This patient obviously is going nowhere. He needs a sniff and he's got no pants. Listen to me. I forget what he said. Dude, yeah, that was so much fun. Anyways. Okay, look, I actually have to go. I have to go furniture shopping. Kevin says, you're a gem headed for a think and a nap. Maybe I'll bother you again when you are online. Hey, anytime, Kevin. Also, you guys know you can always email me, hello@zdogmd.com. Supporters have a special way to reach me, the sort of paying subscribers, but you guys can email me. I may or may not respond depending if I feel like I can be helpful. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. This was actually this was so much fun. I really enjoyed this. I got to sing my stupid songs. That's really all I want to do. Awakening is nonsense. It's a lie, people. It's a lie. All right, gang. I love you. I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, peace.